And welcome back to this, ladies and gentlemen. Ravishing Retro by Tim and Smacks here. Smacks and Tim, we saw such a fantastic game, which I'm sure many of us were not predicting. So, with that, though, Tim, I'm sorry your predictions have gone off the board. Do apologize, but I'm sure we can get them back
I'll
just
forgive
later
you.
on in the day. Your perfect record is tarnished, but if you're not, man, I still respect you wholeheartedly. Now, with that being said, TS loses bracket run, and their plot armor is looking as strong as ever, Tim. But on the side of EGA, they seem to be slowing down a little bit in terms of the gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, I did predict an EGA 3-0 for this series, and already I've been proven wrong. But I think they did some things that they've been able to do pretty typically. Jojo Pian being able to play the Rise, being able to get that massive CS lead, I think was a little bit as predicted. But what I didn't expect so much was TSM being able to come at them with all these dives, and EGA were responding with a very kind of slow macro game, right? Like Contracts on the Udyr, he was just playing to clear, to be in the right place at the right time. They wanted to arrive at the objectives together, and on the whole, they were doing that. They did get that first blood gank. They were getting their setups in general in the right way, but they just weren't quite crisp enough. They weren't quite quick enough. And then it turned into these team fights where TSM were able to out execute them.
And
I
you
think
see
this is
it.
just a composition that I really like from TSM Academy on the whole, where they are going fully committing into this dive, where Babip can be a major shot caller in their team. They have Sword on a more utility based champion in the mid lane, where if we do see some games where he is a little bit down in CS, like the ones we saw yesterday against FlyQuest, doesn't matter as much because he's going a very supportive build with the Shirelias and the Zonias. So I think this works really well to what TSM have shown to be their strengths. Not to mention they did still get Haunser on his pentakilling pentakilling Gnar. He didn't get a pentakill in this game, but he didn't need to.
And honestly, one thing we were thinking about in draft too, right, was like, with Tisa's composition, how are they going to be able to cut through all the tank that's present on EGA? They've got so many beefcakes. What is going to be that steak knife that's able to pierce them through the side? But unfortunately, they didn't need it. That steak knife just turned out to be, hey, just get a gold lead and you'll be fine. But if
Yeah.
we look on over to the next game here, gentlemen, what do you want to see more about EGA team to possibly make the comeback in this?
I think there are strategic changes they can make. They can draft something a little different. I don't think this was a draft problem to me. I thought this was a winnable comp for EGA. I think it was more of an execution thing. I think they needed to do a better job of defending Jojo from the dives for one thing, because it was never going to be a dive on Shoryu with his eye ult, like unless they'd have to repeat like burn the flash one time and then get him the next time like a lot slower. So the dives were coming after Jojo. We saw that. They need to do a better job of defending him a little bit with Mystiques, with the lantern and the flays and so on. I think could have executed better. But I think also Jojo needs to defend himself a little better. There were times he died with flash up and didn't get a chance to use it, that he could have been able to read and react a little better. And so I think he needs to have a stronger game in that sense. I think there were ways that he played very well in certain things, in his laning and being able to, even if he wasn't able to move into a play, he was getting an advantage in lane and working on the tower and then the CS lead and all of that. But I think EGA just have a few things they need to tighten up. I don't know if they're going to go back to another Malphite comp. Like, they can definitely try a different comp, and I'm sure they have something that they can pull out. But I don't think this was like we got to go completely back to the drawing board, and what are we going to do next?
Yeah, 1,000%. You saw just being able to allow them to come together a little bit. And Jojo Pyun, this man used to fend for himself a little more. Everfrost is cool, but flashing is even cooler. But you can't really flash when you have just shadows and knockups and everything and more. It feels like I'm singing a Disney song, but it really is a terrifying feeling. On the other end, those smacks, I do want to ask you real quick. On the side of TSM, they've certainly shown their same team fight prowess. So we saw the previous series, and we see it here today. Do you think they can keep this going against EGA?
It definitely feels like it. It feels like Yurson is really on form, and specifically it feels like Babip is on form in this first game at least. And that's a really big deal for TSM Academy, because I don't want to rag on him too much, but a lot of times he is the weak point of this team a lot of the time, where he's not really finding a lot of early engages. He isn't linking up quite as well with his laners as you'd like him to in the early game, and there are a number of times where he's having some trouble securing objectives, but none of that was present in this game. He was able to do all three of those things exceptionally well, and I think a lot of that is because he was the one starting a lot of the plays. And then Sword and Haunser are following up on that, and Yurson as well. So I really like this look specifically from Babip, and it feels like it makes this entire team really come together. So I really like the way that they were able to play this game. And if Babip is getting this Hecarim champion again, then I think they might be able to do that all throughout the series.
And we mentioned this before in the pre-show as well. We were saying about how like Babip, his team, and TSM as a whole have really started to come together. They've found ways to work around each other, which I think is an absolutely massive thing. This team coordination has been absolutely crucial to what TSM has wanted to do for these past couple of games here. But Tim, I will give you an opportunity. I want to be able to allow you to redeem yourself. I'll give you a chance to amend your prediction, especially after seeing that first game. I'm a merciful host, so the stage is yours, Tim. By all means, amend your mistakes and let us hear your true prediction.
My true prediction. Well, it's very generous of you. You know, it's very hard to say how it might play out from here. I still feel pretty good about EG. I think they can come back and identify some stuff they did here. I think in the same position you first pick the Hecarim and give up the Udyr, I think contracts on something that can, you know, have a little more opportunity to pull the trigger more frequently would be better. I think you don't let your son play Alistar if you banned Israel. Like, that's the two champions he plays. I think if they clean up those things, I think TSM deserve more credit than I gave them coming in, but I'm going to still say EGA 3-2.
Okay. All right, a strong statement, still making a 3-2 across the board. I like that. At least you're going for a bit more full force with this one this time. And yes, I do definitely agree, right? If you want to be able to take more than the sum of the parts of TSM, then try to take over at least almost all of it. Because on the other end for TSM, we were looking at contracts, we were looking at his overall champion pool, right? Taking away that Nidalee and Lilia right at the beginning to make sure he has absolutely no chance to force it on the Udyr. Because although he looked quite good on it, we will highlight that matchup before, we would notice the contract is extremely dominant jungler. He's able to take over his lanes. And Smacks, as we're almost about to head back into draft, I'll just throw to you for your final 10 seconds of thought here. What do you think contracts plays this game? I want you to predict the draft right now. Let's hear it.
I'm thinking that it's not Hecarim or Udyr. I'm thinking that we see at least one of those champions banned, and that Babip gets his hand on the other, or both of them are banned, and he looks to go deep in his champion pool a little bit more, which we know he certainly can do.
I respect it.
Pull the cane, you know? Take a page out of somebody else's book, pull the cane. No, I don't think that should happen, but...
Honestly,
Talia again.
Ooh, man, going back to see some Talia directing again would be so much fun. Not for, of course, the people playing against it, but honestly, for us to watch. With that being said, I believe draft is about ready to go here, gentlemen. So, Smacks, let you take over the reign and throw it back over to you and Destrux to take us into game number 2. We'll catch you in a bit.
Ravish and the rest of the analysts, and welcome, Smacks. You kind of being a little bit of a traitor right there, a little sus if I don't say so myself, now suddenly on the casting desk, but getting into game number 2, EGA have opted for blue side on this one, so this is their want right here, and it kind of surprises me. I don't know if it surprises you as well, but EGA has been a squad that tends to like red side more than anything else, so it's interesting that they're opting into blue side on each match.
Yeah, they are potentially saving their red side strategies for later on in this series, but yeah, for now they are going to stick around on that blue side. But this time, they have decided to attack some of these champions that we see out of TSM and see them perform incredibly well with the Gnar and the Hecarim join Rel in the bans. And so far, we are potentially going to see that Talia that I like to see out of contracts. So we'll see if that one actually does come to fruition.
Okay. Contracts hasn't played too many champions this tournament. Nidalee is one of them, already banned away.
Yep.
Nocturne is another one that could be potentially picked. Again, you need good setup for the lanes in order to go for that Nocturne pick, so I don't really see it going through. So, you know, I'm going to echo you. I want to see Talia. I would love to see it played over with contracts. As the next picks do go through, TSM quick to grab the Kai'Sa once again, but this time they're going for the Bear. Volibear gets locked in.
Volibear, another one of those champions you can sort of just slot into your top lane and jungle very safely. It is that blind pick and it is that flex pick that oftentimes teams gravitate towards in the draft. So we'll see where that actually ends up going. It's a pretty nice matchup into the Renekton, but we do know that Jojo Pyun likes to play the Renekton mid lane sometimes. So Evil Genius's Academy still do have some variety they can provide. They're still sticking with the Xayah, though. They really like Shoryu on that champion. Was able to withstand a lot of those dives that went on to him, where Jojo Pyun was not. So Xayah coming through, it's still a nice matchup into the Kai'Sa.
Yeah, and it was very nice for Shoryu to be able to stay alive with all those dives you were just talking about that Jojo would get caught in. And don't let your screen deceive you. Jojo is still in the mid lane. It's just a little bit of a hiccup production-wise, but next pickup coming in, Evil Genius is really happy to take the Alistar here. And I like this pick a lot because the route was already banned away. Alistar's locked in. That's pretty much your son's entire champion pool so far. The only other thing he's played in this tournament so far has been the Nautilus. So a lot of choking coming out of EGA.
Absolutely. The Thresh is still here. So is that Gragas. So potentially going to be Gragas in the hands of Yurison as a response to Mystique's Alistar. But same as you, I really like the Alistar lock-in for this composition here for Evil Geniuses. They're saving their jungler for later, though, and that does mean TSM Academy deny us of the contracts
break your heart,
to Leah.
Max.
I'm a little bit sad, but I can't blame them. He is very good at that champ.
Is very good. And for those of you who don't know, I believe he pulled it out in the Cloud9 game and still ended up with like a 3.8 KDA. He is really good on Talia even when he is losing.
Definitely. He's pumping out so much damage on it, too. He is very threatening, and they already have the signature duo with it, too, in that Renekton. So removing that one from the pool is going to be a pretty big deal, but you know, there are other AP champions you can lock in the jungle. We've got Elise as one of them that pairs really well with Renekton. Traditionally so as well. It's a very threatening dive buddy composition that you can go for that gives you a lot of power in that early game. There's also champions like Evelynn, which we haven't seen a lot of in this recent season, but still exists. You still got Evelynn in there. So we'll see if Contracts likes to go for the AP style jungler. There's still some options.
I'm curious how this is going to shape up. So far, TSM are taking a lot of flexible champions, minus the Kai'Sa, of course, Volibear, Gragas. They can go into numerous lanes, so they haven't showed their hand too much. Evil Geniuses are pretty much outright showing their hand, minus Jojo Pyun, of course. He can play the mid lane Renekton. He's enjoyed it. He's had great success on it, and
I've enjoyed it too.
It's Jojo, man. So first pick to come out from TSMA for the second half of the draft. They are going to have counter pick being on the red side. So let's see what they go for here.
The Orianna's up. That would be a very safe mid lane pick that they could go for if they want to mask where the Gragas and the Volibear are going to go. It fits in well with what TSM like to do in a comp like this where they do just dive fully forward, but instead they are going to blind this Urgot, and that does lock in where the other champions are going to go. That means it's Volibear for Babip. It means it's Gragas for Yurison. So they're saving that counter pick for Sword in the mid lane, which I can really appreciate in a game like this where they are still sort of deciding what they want to do with this composition. The Urgot makes it so they have some more mid-range just damage rather than full-on dive.
I mean, and the last time they saved that counter pick, it wasn't even to outright, like, destroy Jojo. Is that Mundo?
That's Mundo.
Huh. Okay,
That's
so
not what I was
EGA
expecting.
are pulling it out. I kind of got, like, sidelined by that. I was... Okay. Dr. Mundo's on the riff now.
This champion struggles a little bit into Urgot if you mistime your ultimate, which I will say you do deal a hefty chunk of damage to yourself. If you are hit by that Fear Beyond Death, then that might just mean that you die right away. So Contract's going to have to be a little bit careful about that, but I'm sure he's going to be okay in this game as they do blind that Orianna for the mid lane. That's what we expected out of Sword, but it's still going to be true here for Jojo on EG's side.
And Twisted Fate is one of the more powerful champions that's been left up. Syndra as well. The mid lane pull has, you know, for the most part, not really been that much touch. So you do have a lot you can really sync for here. And TSM, they're happy going with the Syndra. It's going to be a control mage versus control mage matchup. It's not going to be just Jojo Pyun dominating this time. You're actually going to have some agency and life coming out of Sword.
We hope, anyway, as he has had some games where he's been heavily down in CS, regardless of the champion that he is playing. But yeah, for Sword in this lane, we're expecting him to have a lot of extra damage. And again, as we mentioned before, it is still going to be JoJo in the mid lane. They've just swapped a little bit up on our screen right now. So Contract's taking that jungle Mundo in this game. It's not the same level of aggression that we're used to seeing from Contracts, not the same level of aggression that we would have gotten from the Nidalee or the Taliyah, but it can still provide a really nice aspect to a team like this where they do have a champion where if you pick him off, you didn't really pick him off because he's just going to survive and then run away.
Yeah. It's a lot of survivability, a lot of beef, a lot of front line to make sure that JoJo and Shoryu are able to stay in this match and get as much damage as they can, but you have to look at what you're going against as well, the draft that's come out of TSM so far, because there's a lot of pick you have to deal with. Cody Sun's excellent at positioning. He loves the Kaisa and does play an assassin-like playstyle. If you're willing to let him, if he can find that type of situation, he will Killer Instinct onto the backline. But he's got so much to help him out with that. The Syndra Scatter of the Week, great pick utilization, explosive casts, as well as Body Slam, also great for picking. If you want to set up a tower dive, Babip has the Volibear as well as the Urgot combo to try and make Tony Top's life hell. So it's there's a lot of potential on the side of TSM that EG are going to have to go through.
And TSM, they do already have this red side momentum, if you could call it that. They're sticking over there on that side and already shown us what they can do there. They've led the series so far 1-0 as we get onto the Rift for game number 2. And one of the things that really sticks out to me is you were saying is that Yursan still is on an engaged threat support. It's not as easy to operate as things like the Alistar, where all you have to do is point and click a couple of abilities, and there you go, the entire team's knocked up, and then you get to ult away. Whereas Gragas, you do often rely heavily on your flash to get your body slam in, and sometimes you can really find some flubs with your ultimate if you do end up knocking your target away from your team. So it is a little bit higher execution here for Yursan, but we've seen him perform so admirably well on things like the Alistar and the Rel that I'm sure that he's got this well within his wheelhouse into this game for that pick potential.
Yeah, Karagas engages are kind of a gamble sometimes.
Yeah,
is he going to get it right? Is he going to flash my explosive cast? Am I going to predict the flash and Gigabrain it? You know what doesn't need as much setup, that doesn't need that much focus? Mystica is grabbing that Alistar. Alistar will always be that threat there. It's always going to be something pretty big. It's something that Yursan loves and was completely denied this time. And it's going to be one of the big teamfight conditions in the early game to really enable EGA to kind of find those early picks. Especially once we start having fights around Dragon. If you're ever able to get Mystique roaming, there's so much damage that can be done.
We saw a little taste of it in that top lane, but Haunser is already heavily bullying Tony Top out of this lane. This is something that you can do as this Urgot up there. You start with your flip. It gives you extra crowd control. It makes sure that you can land more of your knee shotguns because it sends them behind you, so you don't have to be facing them to do it. And not to mention, it gives you that nice shield. So Haunser showing the capabilities of this level 1 champion up in that top side with all the trades, and he's still denying Tony from even getting a single minion up there.
And then getting shoved bot side as well. TSM are really holding priority pretty much in every lane that they can. And this worries me for Contracts more than anything else, because Mundo is not exactly a top-tier proficient jungler. If he has no lane priority, then it just opens up Babip to do what he wants with this map.
We're seeing the Contracts already has had to recall from that clear. Gone for a very creative item here. He's got a Doran's Blade in the jungle, which is not something that you end up seeing too often, but you can get behind it. It gives you the extra attack damage, and it makes sure that you have some extra healing when it comes to your jungle clear, which he's definitely going to need as Babip is already on that top side, bullying him away. He's already taken those 5 camps on his side and will deny the Scuttle Crab in the top lane.
Didn't even go for the full clear, but
oh, wow.
Hold that thought, because engaged in the bot lane, they're able to get the stun onto Cody's Sun, but they won't get the root onto Cody's Sun, only onto your Sun. But here comes the teleport. Heal's gonna be used. Now going into retreat is EGA as Sword shows up to the fight, but so does JoJo. There's the headbutt pulverize onto Sword. Still trying to find more for that root, but not able to get it. There it is. A double root goes through, but too far back is EG. They can't capitalize on it, and it's going to be a net neutral for both of these squads.
EG does feel pretty good about that one, though, because they gave Contracts the time of day to take that crab. So it's going to be a little bit up in the jungle clear, and really does need that on this Mundo, as he's already recalled once. He needs to become that meat shield for his team as the game goes on. But looking at the aftermath of that one, we're seeing Cody Sun no longer has any summoner spells. Both mid laners had to teleport, and both ignites are down. But Shoryu still keeps his flash intact, so it's not very easy for TSM to gank that lane for a while.
Yeah, strangely enough, that fight was like somewhat of a team fight win for TSM. Just off of what you said there, Babip able to get something. Not Babip, excuse me, Contract. Somewhat of a team fight win for EG, because Contracts was able to get that scuttle, and he's been a little bit bullied by Babip in this early jungle. You already saw earlier, Babip was invading and getting some vision off onto where Contracts has been. He went and got that scuttle over on the top side, was trying to rotate for the bot side scuttle, all meanwhile, before that fight actually did break out. So, a little bit of pressure relieved for Contracts that he's going to go deep and get some vision of his own.
Trying to find the bear. He's going on a bear hunt as Dr. Mundo. He's going to find one if he continues forward with his trek and goes into this camp. There it is.
He's finding it. He's getting some CS back. He's actually claiming a lot of these. He just stole so many of them from Babip, and he's stealing more, and he's going straight at the face of Babip. There goes the cleaver. Tony Top's thinking of going in. He will get the stun. First blood comes out. Contracts. Dr. Mundo goes where he pleases. And Jojo Pyun, he's not done either. He will grab an early 2-0 for Evil Geniuses Academy.
Oh my word, Evil Geniuses come up so big in that play. We're seeing that Contracts has so much confidence to go forward with this one because Tony Top has this wave pushed in, already was able to take out so many of these Krugs, but then he's successful in his bear hunt after all. Babip can't even flash away because of the flash stun. In the meantime, Jojo flashes forward with his command attack. There goes Sword 2. Huge play in the early game for EG.
Yeah, a great start, but a great response to come out of Team Solo mid. After all the resets coming through for Evil Geniuses Academy, they do get a little bit of positioning advantage onto this map, so they're going to use that positioning advantage and score themselves a Dragon. First Cloud Drake of the game going over to TSM.
It's going to feel pretty good if they want to Drake stack later on. They've got some really nice ultimates to make sure that they can do that, but will have to worry about Jojo Pyun and Contract snowballing on them, because both of them already have this kill. Looking for some more, as the ultimates are now available for them too. Or at least for Jojo.
Sword just hits
Contract's
6.
ult. Yeah.
So we got another ultimate available here, and Sword is going to use that level 6 to roam over towards the bot lane, and there are no wards to spot out where he's going, so Evil Geniuses would have to be the wiser to this, noticing that Sword is not there. They're starting to back off now. I believe the call's been made, but Sword is in the vicinity, does the Scout of the Week. It's going to land on the Mystiquez, who gets the Unleashed Power as well. He will fall. Cody Sun grabs that kill. Contracts flashing in with the Cleaver, but the flash coming out of a Babip as well. TSM get a team fight win.
Nice play right there onto that bottom lane. Mystiques does not have ultimate quite yet. He's still level 5, and even with the Aftershock, he's not tanky enough to withstand the Unleashed Power there. But Contracts is looking for more. He's Dr. Mundo, so yeah, you can't do anything. He's just going to walk in and say hi.
Well, what's his PhD in?
I've never asked him that. Maybe that'll get cleared up in the rework.
It's a little bit clear now that we started seeing him do these invades. He's into some biological stuff going into nature, but we gotta look at that bot lane, because goodness gracious, they knew it was coming, just checking at the wrong time.
Yep. It's one of those classic situations where you go to ward, but jungler's already in the bush that you want to ward. So, had the right idea, but little bit too late. Will get punished right away for that one. Then it's a nice bounce back here for TSM Academy, because Cody Sun is the big member that you want to be able to access the backline with, right? They still have a lot of dive threat they can use for that one, but Bip can access the backline. It's just not as easy and is not as reliable as the Hecarim that we saw last game.
This Mystiquez will be towards the mid lane right now, kind of just roaming out with Contracts. Spotting out where the rotations for TSM will head towards, as they are like kind of rotating around Herald, but Contract's not in the area just yet. It's a lot of pushing going on towards this top side for EGA. So potentially looking to set up some type of dive once again over towards that top lane, maybe onto Haunter. Contracts is starting to back out of this area, but Contracts will be spotted out by Ward all meanwhile as well.
Both supports are already up here to try to gain some traction on the Rift Herald. Contracts might have to smite this. It does. He does have a charge up for the Herald if they want to go for it, but looks like that is just going to signal TSM to start this one up. Like we mentioned, they already had Yursan on up here, and even Cody-san is waiting in the wings. He does have that killer instinct to arrive to a fight at a moment's notice, so EG are just going to give this one up and let Shoryu farm up bot.
Yeah, I mean, that's good team play. Rotating Cody-san up to the mid lane just to make sure they have, like, for sure their priority is established around that Herald. Now they're going to have that Herald. I mean, it does buy Shoryu a little bit of free farm time. He will collect some plates. It will definitely all come down to how they really utilize that Herald in the long run. But overall, I'm definitely liking the play out of TSM. They're playing this very carefully, and they're trying to do a lot of give and take.
I like what they've been able to do in this series as a whole, but this game also, where they are making sure to let Babip carve a path for them on this Volibear. On that top side, they rally around him to get the Herald, and it's down to this bottom side around the same time as Cody and Yursan arrive too. Can they defend this blue buff from being stolen, though?
Contracts is here. We've seen it before, but this time a little bit more even of a fight. Actually changed that completely. It will be a 4-on-4. And here comes the engagement. Babip goes deep. Shoryu going right after Babip. The feathers will find their mark. Now Tony Top's able to teleport in, but so is Hanser. Still no dash to come through. Will not find the second dash. Hanser will be able to get away, but it's still a kill going over to Evil Genius's Academy.
And Deserex, as it turns out, they can't defend the blue buff from being stolen. That gets picked up by Shoryu, and they get the jungler on top of it. But Bip does go down. Not to mention Sword and Cody-san having to flash out of that one too. It just feels like everything went wrong for TSM Academy in that bottom side. They were not strong enough to withstand that engage down there, and it leads to them losing out on that kill, losing out on a bunch of gold across the map. As you can see, Tony's able to pick up a bunch of plates mid. And that Rift Herald still hasn't quite been used either. They're really getting shut down across the board.
And a lot of this is just coming from Contracts, where he is on the map.
Yeah.
Like, really, Contracts has been banned out so hard in this game, and yet he's still putting on a good performance. You put him all the way down to the Mundo, and he's 1-0-1, spotting out where Babip is.
And this is a very unorthodox champion, to say the least, as we're seeing from him, but still the decision-making is so nice. Yeah, exactly. He's been around for too long. You can't ban him out. He's going to know all the junglers in so many different metas, and they rework the jungle every year. So, of course, he's going to know how all these champions work. Still making it work as the old man on the block and on the Mundo.
It's like trying to ban out Hanser. How many champions has he played this tournament? Quite a few.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Hanser. And now he's on this Urgot, too, which we saw in that lane. He was having a great time bullying out Tony Top, but he's found himself in a position where he's a little bit down in CS. The lane advantages aren't all there at all, and Tony has been able to make some nice impact with that teleport before, and will be going towards the Gore Drinker too, so it's going to be looking to have a really big impact in the team fight specifically.
So, random little stat. Hanser has played 10 games in this tournament so far, now 11, and that is 7 different champions he's played throughout this.
Oh, wow.
So he is quite the diverse. He has the champion ocean going when it comes to the top lane.
Absolutely does, and he's still getting pentakills on the meta champs too. That's how you know that this guy is not to be trifled with up in that top side. Looking at him,
get that to barrage,
wait.
man. Oh, the engage onto Jojo. Jojo takes a bit of damage, but he'll be able to flash away from the Scatter of the Weak. Here comes the Unleashed Power. Jojo stays alive, but the ultimate comes out of Babip and slams Jojo down. Jojo will get double killed, though, by Contracts, who has been just completely ignored in that last end of the fight. He was just picking it up and chipping away at those health bars.
A double kill for the Doctor right there. Contracts finds both of them, and Jojo has a huge shockwave, even despite phase checking into a Volibear, getting hit by Syndra ultimate, and then getting flashed on by Babip. All of that is just barely enough to take him down, but Evil Genius's Academy still come out ahead in this play. They still let Contracts push out this wave too, so he is completely steamrolling right now. He's about to hit his first mythic item in this game.
He's gonna be an unkillable machine. And speaking of kills, try to find kills over in the bot lane. Yeah, Contracts, he's gonna be a beast in this late game. You're gonna do chip damage at him, he will say, "Why are you trying to tickle me, bruh?" Contracts, I am looking forward to what he's gonna be able to pull off in with the Mundo as we get later and later into this.
Oh yeah, this is a fun champion to watch because he doesn't do a lot, but everything he does is just so funny. He just runs at you. There's a big random red circle around him, throwing axes or cleavers at you, whatnot. He doesn't have the file skin, which is the funniest one of all, but this is still pretty good. He's Mr. Mundo versus. He's recalling right now. Let's see if he gets that full turbo chem tank. I think he has it.
Hey Smacks, whatever happened to the Herald?
Huh.
I've just noticed that's been missing. We saw the second Herald get picked up, right?
I don't know where Babip actually dropped that. Doesn't really look like it was anywhere. Did it just time out? He has died 3 times.
I do not know. I definitely want to take a look back on that one. Might have been bad timing to come out of Babip, but that would definitely hurt if you're TSM, given the situation that they're in now.
Yeah, that is not what you want. Finding these advantages and just letting them fall to the wayside out of just a timeout right there is going to hinder TSM rather greatly, as they are down about 3,500 gold in this game. And they're going to miss out on the second Herald too, as Contracts already started this one up. Mystique's Jojo and Shoryu are all in position. Not to mention Tony Top, they're all here.
All right, don't worry, Smacks. I'm watching this Herald. I'm going to see who it goes on, and I'll watch what lane that ends up popping into. EG getting the priority, getting the early game. A lot of this off of this big bad boy right here on Contracts.
Contracts picking that one up. They might be able to crack the mid lane turret with this one too. They've already got the bot lane turret, so EG have already done a great job opening up this map. They are gonna trade the bot lane turret of their own though, as we're seeing they haven't sent anyone to deal with Hanser bot lane, but there it is. That's the I mid. See if they can get the turret.
So it is being popped. TSM are here to respond. You got your son if you do want to go for the engage, but Bip just took the recall, so TSM want nothing to do with this. Shelly will be able to take down this turret. And that will be it. The rotation now coming out of EGA as they head towards the Drake.
Tony Top's up in the top lane too. Gonna crack that turret. Dragon's up. Tony has teleport. Not really something that TSM wants to contest at all. They're down so heavily, and their biggest damage dealer in this game right now, it kind of feels like it's Hanser, but he hasn't really participated in any of these fights quite yet. He only now has purchased his Titanic Hydra, which has yet to be nerfed. It is still very strong as a first item in this game, so he is very threatening, but hasn't had any real PvP content. It's just been PvE.
Yeah. Kind of stuck out on that one, dealing with Tony Top. The Renekton, you get a lot of regeneration. When Contracts comes up, good luck with that one. He is a tanky, beefy boy. Still good CS coming out of Hanser. He hasn't died, but he hasn't had an effect on this map, and TSM are now starting to hover around this top side of the map, so might see Hanser in a team fight quite soon, but Bip's headed over towards this top side, and it does look like EGA will be forfeiting this tower.
Everyone is here. Oh,
even Contracts is here as he sets his sight onto Sword. Cody's son will get some damage back in. Turret over on the top side will fall, and TSM are happy to just take their win and retreat.
The Honey Fruit brought to you by the Ocean Rift. It's to help up Sword right there, back up to full HP, but they already got the prize they were looking for. They already got that top lane turret. They're missing out mid lane right now. This is an inner turret that Shoryu is attacking completely uncontested. There isn't a very big minion wave, so I don't think they get the full thing, but I think that extra chip damage mid can provide a huge win condition in the fights later on here for Evil Geniuses.
It was an idea. It was a move. They were trying to respond to what TSM did with that top play, but weren't able to get too much out of it. Not a big enough wave. And now EG are just finding whatever scraps they can. They're going into the jungle. They're gathering their vision. They're setting up for the next objective they can fight over. And we do have a minute 10 seconds before the Baron does come up. We have 3 minutes until Ocean Drake comes up. So we'll see what TSM looks set up for.
TSM have stemmed the gold lead just a tad, because previously I said that it was about 4,500. It's now down to 3,500. So TSM are getting at least some semblance of gold back into their pockets. Stealing away these camps over here too, but found himself taking those. He will smite it.
Contracts caught out, explosive cast pulls him back, but he will be able to stay alive as Tony Top goes after Babip. Starts to lose a bit of his health bar as well. The teleport coming out from Sword. Here comes Jojo, watching closely for that shockwave. There it is onto Sword. Mystique Quest will be able to pick up that kill, but Shoryu on the back line with the feathers, brings him back, gets the kill. Cody's son will take him down, but Contracts wants to sweep up and janitorial duty will be completed. Now your son will be cleaned as well. A double kill going over to Contracts as the Croc goes straight after Haunter. Might be a little bit worried here. Not sure if Haunter has his ult, but he feels fine enough to clean up that ace. Evil Geniuses Academy. They get the ace. They only lose Shoryu. The reward? Baron.
And look at that. How convenient for Evil Geniuses that they take the fight just as Baron is spawning. We get to see a replay of this one where Contracts shows how strong this champion can be in fights like this. He has so much regeneration, so much chase down potential. And then the combo comes through from Jojo and Mystique's, all this crowd control. And Shoryu, man, he's the only one on his team who dies, but it's just a huge chunk of damage.
It's Contracts. He's back. He just got out of the fight. He had low health, comes back, has his health bar back up. Rejoins the fight, low health once again, doesn't care. Contracts on Mundo has been a joy to watch, Smacks.
Absolutely is. Like I said, man, this champion's so funny. He just runs around and quite literally does as he pleases. Contracts doing exactly that in this one. 5 kills. Oh, Shoryu.
Here we go, going after Contracts. Again, Contracts is a beefy boy, and that's why he's the one pressing the momentum. Goes right after Codyson, gets him to about half health. The ultimate's regenerating a lot, but there is the teleport. Haunter, this is the wrong side of the map, man. He falls. Evil Geniuses now sieging up in the mid lane.
Got Baron as well here, Eric. Might
got
get
everything.
this entire inhibitor right now. Oh, well, there's only 1 minion. All right. It's not going to happen right now.
Saddest minion.
Still waiting for that one, but they have a few other methods of attack right now. The wave is here. See if they can get this entire inhibitor turret.
Yeah, you still don't have Haunter. It's a Baron-empowered push. TSM trying their best to defend this line, trying to clear those minions, but they do have a lot of short range. They have to get pretty close to be able to clear those out. You're basically banking off Sword and being able to clear some of these waves. But look at Tony Top all meanwhile in the top lane. Just doing the split push, getting the chip damage onto the tower he needs, and further expanding, exponentiating this gold lead that EGA has been able to get. But look at the wings. It's Babip.
It's a lot of wards.
He's looking to find that flank. Can he get it? Evil Geniuses Academy are starting to back up. They're realizing that Babip is on the flank. Mystique Quest wants to clear out that control ward, but he doesn't want to get too far from his team as well. He is the main defender for Jojo Pion and for Shoryu.
Geniuses, they've got all 5 members here around this minion wave. Contracts popping ultimate shows that they really do want either a fight or the turret or both.
Yeah, going straight for the tower. Contracts will be able to destroy that one. Now Mystique Quest looking for the headbutt pulverize. Trying to choose his target very carefully. Now grouped up together is Evil Geniuses Academy, and here comes the engage. Going after Codyson. Codyson gets knocked up. The damage onto Babip is massive. A 1-for-1 trade so far as Codyson goes straight after Mystic Quest, but will not take him down. It's only Contracts who falls on the side of Evil Geniuses, but the entire top side of the map has fallen for TSM.
Geniuses don't find the push threat to end the game quite yet. They instead set their sights on this 3rd dragon of the game, but it definitely does feel like this game is close to over here. Evil Genius is looking to bounce back in this series, take us to 1-1. And a lot of that is just showing up from Contracts on his 5th jungler, making so much pressure for his team. Yes, he goes down in this one, but look how much time he's able to buy for his squad. He even takes the Haunter Urgot ultimate there too. There's so much damage left in the tank, though. It doesn't matter if Contracts goes down. He's just the frontliner here. EG have everything left to take down the rest of this fight and the inhibitor.
And now the Rift is the oyster of EG. They have no worries whatsoever. They already have the mid lane inhibitor. They've been doing the team fight so well. Contracts is an absolute beast with a 9.0 KDA right now. So it's just about taking down these final towers, opening up the game even more, and strangling out TSM. You can see they're starting to posture up around the bot side area. You can see TSM are posturing up around the mid. The idea here for EG is catch out Haunter, find whatever you can. Headbutt Pulverize for the knockup. There's the slow, and there is the kill. Jojo will grab that one, but it is Evil Geniuses Academy who get the inside track onto the bot lane.
Looking like yet another turret for them. This would be their 7th if they can knock this one down. They don't even miss out on anything mid lane either. TSM, they push in that wave, yes, but they don't knock down that turret because they have to remain in their base to make sure they don't just flat out lose their Nexus here at 25 minutes. Evil Geniuses have all 5 members around. They will back away now, seeing TSM mounted a defense, but EG are still just finding all these advantages. They don't need to overextend. They are in that driver's seat, and they intend to stay there.
So TSM trying to find their footing into this game. It has been a struggle. It's just been off the back of Contracts. He's controlling the map, and Evil Geniuses are still roaming around from position to position. They have a minute until Baron spawns. TSM have some vision control around that Baron side, but it is going to be eliminated oh so quickly from Evil Geniuses Academy. They have that much power, they have that much presence, and right now, TSM, they'd be damned to take a team fight against Evil Geniuses.
Absolutely cannot do that. Only way they're finding something is if they find a pick. But who are you even going to find a pick on? It's not Contracts, he can't die. It's not Shoryu, he has Ult Flash and Gale Force. It's not Jojo, because he's actually the utility member of this game. He's not on the rise. And he's up in top lane. He's just pushing in the waves. You can't do anything about that one right now. So, TSM looking like some dire straits right now. They're going to need to mount some sort of defense, some sort of miracle comeback that may or may not involve some Elder Dragon shenanigans at this point, but I don't know if it's going to work out.
You see TSM, they keep posturing forward. They're looking for some way in. Yurson is always looking for that engage, but it's just far too risky. He can't seem to find an opening. And when you have bodyguards as strong as the ones that Evil Geniuses Academy has, yeah, you're going to be hard-pressed to get that opening. You definitely are, and Evil Geniuses, they are now setting their sights on Baron. Tony Top trying to get onto the flank. Haunter will spot him out going in that direction, but now TSM are surrounding the Baron. 7k health remains. Contract's going to pop ultimate, and they're going on to Tony Top. Tony Top looking to just walk away out of this one. Yurson going onto the backline. Here comes the shockwave. It only lands onto Yurson, but suddenly TSM are starting to lose more than what they came for. Contracts goes after Sword, will get the cleaver, will get the kill. A double kill going over for Contracts. Shoryu tries to find some autos of his own on the 3 remaining members of TSM, but they will be able to get the retreat. They are just in a very, very long route to take, and now Shoryu making it rain pain onto the members of TSM. Tony Top dives in, and another one goes down. Evil Geniuses have been able to take 4. They've only lost Contracts. Cody's son is now on the run, and Evil Geniuses are saying, screw the fight, let's go for the win. They're headed straight for the Nexus.
The Geniuses, no-nonsense mid laner, doesn't even take part in that fight. He just barrels it down mid, teleports on over there, makes his way through the base, and they get the full ace anyway. Evil Geniuses completely trounce TSM in game number 2, and they make it an even series.
1-1 apiece. Now, one more kill on the Sword just to bat that KDA. But we are now 1-1 apiece. It's all coming down to just that best of 3. But Evil Geniuses, they had a response. They felt comfortable being on that blue side, and it showed why. Mundo, dude. Mundo.
That's all you gotta say right there. Contracts, again, showing that he is one of the strongest junglers in this entire tournament, even not on Nidalee right now here, Eric. So this is a really big statement for Evil Geniuses to make. They pull out this win, and we still got the rest of this best of 5 right now. Don't go anywhere. We still got so much action left.
I mean, that whole thing just started off with Mundo goes on a safari. He's trying to find the bear and eventually bumps into Babip in the jungle. And from there, with like Tony Top getting the wave all the way shoved into Hanser, it was just disaster. It was play after play after play made by Contracts who, wearing that, Mr. Universe, Mr. Mundoverse skin, coming in like the bodybuilder he was and just deadlifting TSM.
Yeah. He posed the question, hey, Babip, what do you do if there's a charging Mundo running at you on your Krug camp? And turns out Babip's answer is fall down and die as the Volibear, because there's no other way around it. You do get completely trounced by Contracts in the jungle, and they attacked his champion pool so well too. They got rid of that Hecarim, they got rid of Hanser's Gnar here too. Really worked out for Evil Genius Academy, and we've got a very competitive series on our hands.
You said attacked his champion pool. They outright nuked it. They went after it as best as they could, and he still pulls out a champion that he was carrying on. Not to talk too much about Contracts and the whole Babip matchup at the end of the day, because I do want to talk about JoJo. He did kind of have his resurgence in that last game on the Orianna going against Sword. He did very, very well and got some very, very clean shockwaves as well.
Showing a different side of him to the control mage side, which we've been a lot more impressed with him on things like that Lucian and the set and the Renekton. We were even expecting that it was going to be Renekton mid for the majority of that draft, but showing that he's got this Orianna still in his pool, showing that he can still make these plays and make these shot calling moments for the geniuses. It's been so fun to watch. I love JoJo Pion. I love Contracts and how they're playing this game. I want to see some more in Game 3.
And you will definitely see some more. We're going to throw it over to short break so our analysts can break down that game. We will be right back. More LCS Proving Grounds coming at you.
Verizon believes everyone deserves the best. That's why we start with 5G from America's most reliable network.
Verizon 5G is next level.
Then give families plans to mix and match, so you only pay for what you need starting at $35.
You get so much more than this, a great network.
And offer the best in entertainment on select unlimited plans, like Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus, as well as Discovery Plus, with a Galaxy S21 plus 5G when you buy one. There's no reason to settle for less than the best, only from Verizon.